Hello, everybody, and welcome to another NPCs Weekly News Roundup. It is January 8th, 2021, and today we will be talking, of course, about Activision suing one of the cheat makers for Call of Duty. It's going to be an interesting one to see how that lawsuit turns out. We'll also be talking about the rumor on Mario Kart 9 supposedly making its way with an added twist to the game series. And, of course, we'll also be talking about Microsoft's weird collaboration between Xbox and a nail polish company. Again, everybody, it is January 8th, 2021. We're going to roll our intro and get things started. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another NPCs Weekly News Roundup for the week of November 20th, 2020. It is Friday. It is, where's my date? It's September 18th, 2020. Here to our first story, and this is actually breaking news for all of us right now here, too. Figured this is kind of a big one to cover, of course, with who it is. Joined via Discord by Kyle because we're in the midst of a pandemic still, and, of course, everything is all kinds of crazy. So this thing is a chonker. I mean...
yeah, it's a beast.
It's huge. Doing that we had the Resident Evil stuff, that they were successful with Castlevania. Welcome to another NPC's Weekly News Roundup. And it's the news time. I am joined, of course, by Kyle via Discord. Kyle, hello.
What's up?
Man. All right, and there we go. We are live. We are active. We are up on the internet, out there sharing with you our love, our joy, our excitement, our chaos that is the Weekly News Roundup. Of course, y'all know me. I'm Travis. My name is, let's see, it's the other hand. It's like right here. There's my name, right there. And then, of course, Kyle via Discord. That way, because the Omicron variant is a thing. So, hi, Kyle.
What's up?
Dude, what is up indeed? There's been a lot of news.
You were hovering in a black abyss.
Is that a problem for you? I can change that really quick. Well, actually, I don't think I can, but... I mean, the green screen's there. It's just I haven't built up anything to actually put behind me. I mean, like I've got the one for the news intro, but I haven't carried it over here because you have to do it as a whole other. You have to do it as a whole other source for it to work out. So yeah, I just haven't set that up. But anyway, yeah. So I am as I float out here in the abyss that is the news.
The void.
The void. Yeah, no, the void is right there. I know you can't see it, but my void is right. Oh, never mind. My void. I'm not gonna.
He's venturing into Web 3.
Yes, this is welcome to the metaverse that is the NPCs. Not really, please, love of God, no. Anyway,
I'm trying to get a shot at our episode coming up. So.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that here in a minute, though. Anyway, too. But anyway, yes. Welcome to another news roundup. There has been a lot of news this week. However, if you want any of the details on some of the things we thought were important to gaming and CES, because CES was this week, go check out the quick save that I published on Thursday once we are done here, of course, with the news. Don't go watch it now. You need to be here for this because this is live, okay? You can watch that after. So make a note of it yourself. But one of the stories in there we'll talk about a little bit more that I had actually covered in the quick save. But we're going to jump right into our first story of the day, and that is Mario Kart 9 is supposedly on the way. So according to information from an analyst, this analyst is Serkan Toto. He's an analyst with Canton Games. Mario Kart 9 is supposedly in active development and will come with a new twist. This is reported on by Polygon, and it looks like it could be potentially out maybe this year, that we could see a new Mario Kart. There's no indication of what the twist could actually be, but Nintendo's dabbled in quite a bit of different things with Mario Kart over the years, especially more recently. We had the Mario Kart kind of AR experience where you could actually purchase a drivable Mario Kart that you would control with your Switch, and you would play it through your TV, and it would just transmit the images back to your Switch through a camera that was on the card itself. So you're playing real life Mario Kart.
Kind of an RC car, basically.
It really is. Yeah, you just control it with the Switch. So for what the twist could be, it really isn't up the air, like on what we could potentially see. I mean, we had that. Even I think Polygon even mentioned, of course, that there was not only that game, which was called Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, but they also had Nintendo Labo, which had a cardboard racing peripheral that was compatible with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And Labo was the cardboard build-it-yourself type controller interactive thing, just to kind of get people engaged in a different way. But let's talk about that, though, Kyle. What could they offer, like, twist-wise for for Mario Kart? Like, what could they do different?
I'll tell you what I wish they'd do the same.
What's
Or
that?
maybe they'd view it as different. Bring back the double dash format.
See, I don't know if that would
That's what
necessarily.
I want to see.
Right, I do too, but I
But
just don't think I'd put it as like a new twist. Like I would.
yeah, I don't see it as a new twist. Man, that's really hard to say. Like I don't know. Where do you go from here? Like it's obviously got to still be a kart racer to be Mario Kart, otherwise it'd be something else. I mean, they can't go into like planes and stuff like Diddy Kong Racing. Um, I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? Because I'm kind of lost if they're saying they're going to do something completely different.
See, and that's where it's kind of tough for me to be able to call it out on what we could potentially see. Part of me almost assumes we're going to see more emphasis on augmented reality potentially in the next one, but I don't know exactly how they'd implement it. They don't have a camera, virtual reality, augmented reality type tracking system in the Switch itself. Like, they don't have anything like that. So I don't know exactly what they could potentially do. Like, maybe the reason why I'm saying AR is that I would think of something like similar to Pokemon Go, where you could actually, have your phone up while you're out walking around, and you could actually have your Pokemon up on the screen itself, interact with your Pokemon companion.
I
When you're
get you.
catching
So
one, you
like
get the
maybe
AR.
go to specific locations and be able to race at tracks that would be exclusive to that specific spot.
Like customized ones that might fit more like the area that you're in. So like
Yeah,
Pokemon that spawn in Pokemon Go are ones that you'd actually see kind of in a certain area. But that's what I'd expect to see. Like here, it's with winter and snow on the ground and that
mhm.
we would expect to see. Maybe we'd go out to like the park, that there'd be a track out there that has a that's an ice theme of some type, or something of that nature. Or it still could be regional, that obviously, of course, because the Switch doesn't have on the go internet capabilities other than just Wi-Fi, that you would have to probably be within your home anyway, though. But I'm just saying, though, is that even with that, is that if you were in your home and you had your Switch on you, if it had something that could dock into the bottom of it, like if you were holding onto your Switch and it plugged into the USB Type-C connection on the bottom, could that possibly use that camera to maybe put an AR track on the ground in front of you? So maybe you're looking at something that is Mario Kart, but it's more like a slot car type experience instead.
Mhm. That'd be kind of interesting. Another thing that I kind of had a thought when you said customization is maybe they have the ability to do like a oh, complete track builder. Like the game is completely custom to players. Like you have the ability to make your own tracks and download other people's tracks. Like basically Super Mario Maker, but for Mario Kart.
See, that would actually be kind of cool. I think that would actually be kind of a neat approach to have that sort of creator mode to it, where you could like if you don't want to create your own stuff, here's all the base tracks that you would expect in Mario Kart. You'd have some throwback stuff, you'd
Right.
have some newer things, you'd have maybe a little bit of a twist here and there, but your biggest twist would be on the customization. And Serpent Knight in chat here says something in the Odyssey setting, maybe open world instead of set tracks. And that's something I could also see too, especially with the success of games like Forza. Forza Horizon being a big example, is that you're not necessarily customizing things, but you're driving around to different tracks. You're unlocking the different cars. You're completing those different like mission sets or challenge sets, but you're still having that same experience though in the Mario Kart world. That might be another twist on the whole thing, especially in the open world concept. And Mario
Yeah.
Kart isn't necessarily that power hungry of a game. And we saw how successful they were with Breath of the Wild being open world, that maybe that could be it too, is that it's the Forza Horizon concept meets Mario Kart.
Well, I mean, Mario has been successful in other areas. You look at the Mario Rabbids Kingdom battle. They've done the XCOM format, so it's not totally out of reach.
No, it's absolutely not. It really does feel like something that would fall into their wheelhouse, like, of attempting to do, because Nintendo's been known to do that. They're the ones who are
Hmm.
known to really step out of the comfort zone to at least try something different. And I'm not going to say they've been 100% successful. I mean, look, the Wii Vitality sensor didn't make it to make it to market. The Wii Music stuff was kind of hit or miss. We can go all the way
Right.
back to like the Virtual Console, or not Virtual Console, but the Virtual Boy, excuse me, being
Oh
another
man.
thing though too, is that not every single thing they have done has been successful, but they've had those little niche things that have ended up being big game changers. And for them to take a risk like that on a property, I think this is probably the next thing that they could probably do, is the open world concept to it. So
Right.
I don't know. But we'll have to keep an eye on that. I'm definitely thinking like a peripheral that allows for the augmented reality. So you have the slot car experience. You're talking about the customizable tracks. And then, of course, Serpent Knight and Chad is talking about potentially the open world aspect. So maybe all three. Who knows?
Yeah.
Those I think, are all really good ideas. And it'll be neat to see what they come out with. However, that's all they're
Ooh,
saying, is that it's in
that
active
open
development.
world. I just had another thought. What if they
Hmm.
made it more like a Mario Kart meets Mario Odyssey? You have to go to specific locations and do tracks, but you have to like drive there and stuff. Almost like a Diddy Kong experience, but more open. That would be really cool.
That actually wouldn't be a bad idea for them to throw back to what Diddy Kong Racing had done, because Diddy Kong Racing was only as open world as it could
Yeah,
be on
like
that
you had the
technology.
paths to go down,
Right, but it
but
was
that was
still
it.
in that concept that you had to go from place to place, and that right there wouldn't be a problem, especially because we're used to controlling Mario in that platformer setting of running him around the map, jumping on things, and that it wouldn't be a far-fetched idea to mix that platforming and then have him be able to jump into his cart and just go.
Right.
Or as he goes, this is the last thing I'll say on that part, at least, as tying in with it, is that we know that there's the different types of Mario Karts themselves, or the different types of carts out there. There's your standard cart, there's the hover cart, there's the cart with the glider that appears when you hit the jumps. Imagine those being things that you have to unlock as you progress through to move on to different areas of the open world to compete in those races, especially. So I think that might be it. That could very well be what the case is that they go open world
Yeah.
with it. But we'll have to see. However, of course, that it just says it's active development. So maybe we could see something here in 2022. I don't exactly know. We might see
Yeah,
something
I don't see
announced,
it
but
being any like close Nintendo Direct. I think that would be, if anything, closer to like Summer Games Fest. Maybe a Nintendo Direct around there. If anything, if any announcements even gonna be made for sure this year.
yeah, 100%. If anything does come up, I'm assuming it's probably going to be midway through the year, and it probably won't be something that releases until 2023. But we might get more actual tangible news on it through the course of the year, though. So that will be cool to see. A couple other mentions here, though, about what this guy had predicted. Let's see, because I was reading some other things there. Let's see. Let's see. 2022 predictions. Let's see. It was something about the Switch. Let's see. I'm not expecting a Switch Pro in 2022. We have a next gen Nintendo console in our forecast for late 2024, so I'm not convinced a Pro model is going to appear at all. That was another thing from this analyst that had dropped the notes there just to figure out, or at least say, hey, this is one of the other things. So maybe the Pro console won't exist, and we'll see whatever next gen is in the next couple of years for Switch then. So,
Maybe.
I wanted to at least make a comment on
And maybe
that.
the next Mario will be one of those cross-platform Marios, similar to how 8 was, released on the Wii U and just made better by coming out on the Switch.
Yeah, maybe. Very, very possible on that, especially. Let's move on to our next story, though, of course. And this is kind of an interesting twist on things and of course, not only just a twist, but a benefit, though, is that Ubisoft Plus is going to be coming to Game Pass. And it's going to be coming to, it's going to be heading out here sometime in the very near future. So I talked about this in, I talked about this in the quick save on Thursday. But I guess maybe I messed up a little bit here. It just said it was coming to Xbox in the future. So it's possible they could just launch it as a separate platform. So what I'm curious about, though, maybe is that they would actually tie it into Game Pass, though, more than anything, similar to the way EA did. And that's what I talked about in the quick save, though. But I wanted to bring it back up here because one of the concerns I had talked about in the quick save was exactly how Ubisoft could roll this in with Game Pass. Is it going to be like what EA did with EA Play, where those who are on Game Pass Ultimate get EA Play included at no additional cost? Is Ubisoft Plus going to be the same way, or is there going to be a surcharge that goes with it? Like instead of paying the full $18 a month, or is it going to be like an additional $5 a month to include Ubisoft Plus in your Game Pass subscription?
Well, if you remember when EA Play first came to Xbox, it wasn't originally part of the Game Pass or whatever. It was its own separate service as well. I think for about 3 or 6 months before they actually said, "Oh, we're gonna add it into the actual Game Pass service, so you just get it without having to pay extra. You only have to pay, the whatever it is, $5 to $15 a month, if you're only doing Xbox Gold."
So then it's going to be interesting to see is if they end up putting it on the Xbox first and then potentially move it over to Game Pass after the fact.
Yeah, it'd be hard to say. I don't know.
Well, the only reason I'm really thinking it could potentially be tied into Game Pass is because they also announced that Rainbow Six Extraction, the new version of Rainbow Six that's coming up, will hit Game Pass on release day. So it will be a day one release on Game Pass, which for that being a first title for Ubisoft and not it being, what they were aiming for, a standard release, that's what makes me wonder if it's going to be something that's rolled into Game Pass, though, too, is that because they're taking the hit for going to for Extraction hitting Game Pass, are they potentially mulling over and looking at metrics to see, okay, how many people are polling here? It's like, well, maybe then we'll release more stuff Ubisoft onto Game Pass, pull more metrics that way, and then at the end of it, fully release, okay, well, here's Ubisoft Plus. We found that it's going to work by doing this.
Well, I don't know how Ubisoft Plus runs their service. I know with EA, just because I had looked into actually purchasing it prior to it being added to Xbox.
Right.
With the EA Play service, it's not necessarily all games that actually get added day one for free. Some of them will be added for like a 5-hour trial, but you won't actually be able to play the full game again unless you purchase it for sometimes upwards of like 9 months before they add it into the actual EA Play Pass.
Okay.
But a lot of them they'll give you like the 5-hour demo. Like a good instance would be Battlefield 2042. Actually, EA has the 10-hour demo for PC players. I'm pretty sure it's the same for Xbox.
It is on Xbox as well. Yep.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. It's the exact same for them too. So, yeah, it very well could be that way. It very well could be more trial-based type stuff instead of it actually being the full-fledged integration. But because they said that Rainbow Six Extraction was going to be a day one release on Game Pass is really what leads me to believe that it's going to be tied in with it.
See, and I feel like that's just Xbox shelling out the money to get the day one access over everyone else. It wouldn't be the first time that Xbox is or Microsoft has done that for games. I there's so many. I'm actually trying to draw one from memory right off the bat, but I feel like, Back for Blood, they got day one. That's just a more recent one that I can think of. Outriders, they got day one, and it's still on there. Actually, I don't know if it's ever been taken off Game Pass, but on any other console, you would have to purchase it. So, well, I guess there's only the PlayStation and PC, but yeah.
Yeah. So
So I think that that's more Xbox shelling out for it. But maybe it could be tied hand in hand in with the Ubisoft Plus deal if they are trying to bring it to their console first. Uh, Maybe trying to one up PlayStation yet again. But I once again hard to say. Um, and until we more know more. Um, Especially about if they're actually going to be charging once it gets added to the Microsoft service, or if it's going to be integrated into the actual Game Pass.
yeah, it might be a little bit of additional time. I mean, it
Yeah.
could be that like because Ubisoft Plus right now, I think like they said is even included like where you can get it included with Stadia. But I think there's
Hmm.
some other sort of exclusivity thing that's going on with Amazon right now where you can get it with Luna and it's I thought it was like a cheaper price on
Huh.
Luna than it was like even getting it on its own. But I can't remember, honestly. It was just one of those things right off the top of my head. I was just trying to remember. Um but anyway, so I guess we'll have to see what comes of this, especially after Extraction drops on Game Pass day one, and to see if maybe by the middle of this year we actually see Ubisoft Plus actually be rolled into Game Pass. But I guess the concern at the end of it is
Yeah.
if the price goes up because it's
I
$15
mean,
for Ultimate. So
if it just gets totally integrated, that would be super awesome. I mean, it gives everyone a chance to play all the previous Ubisoft titles, Assassin's Creed, all the old Far Cry games. Scott Pilgrim's actually on there too. Before they all become live service games.
yeah, which is funny because there was
That's kind of what the way that everything's moving, especially on Ubisoft's end. Assassin's Creed's moving live service. Rainbow Six is going live service, so I can see Watch Dogs' next title being a live service title. Honestly,
that potentially. Now it's just funny though because you mentioned Scott Pilgrim because I just read about this though too. It's a separate story out of all this anyway. But apparently, um, there is a Scott Pilgrim anime in the works right now too. Yeah,
that's
not just
awesome.
animated, but they actually said anime.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm down.
yeah, and it's involving everybody. And if I read right, that even includes like Edgar Wright is apparently involved for it as well. So that's
That's wonderful.
yeah. Anyway, we can talk about that offline. But I had saw that before we started stuff, and I was like, "Ooh, that's kind of cool." Anyway, in our next story, though, of course, we got to talk a little bit about here, and this is actually maybe a good thing. But Activision is suing a COD cheat seller for, I believe, a lot of money. I don't know exactly how much, but they are suing them. So this article from Ars Technica here talks about it a bit, where it says that Activision has filed a federal lawsuit against German cheat makers Engine Owning and associated individuals for, quote, trafficking in technologies that circumvent or evade anti-cheat technologies used by Activision to protect the integrity of Call of Duty games. Apparently, it only costs like 13 euros a month, which I think is around about 15 to 16 US dollars, to access. It's a subscription thing to access different cheats for COD, Battlefield, Titanfall 2, and Battlefront. And it's all the different types of cheats that you could think of. Not only is it just the radar part, but you've got aim bots, you've got trigger bots, you've got different changes to the radar system as well too. It's a pretty big list there of exactly what's going to be happening. So
You know what bugs me about this?
what?
People actually pay to be pieces of crap.
That's true. I mean,
Yeah,
we
like
both acknowledge that
cheating
we're
is
terrible,
so
but
lame.
hey,
I'm
like
terrible at shooters, guys, and I still play all the time.
I know, right? It's it's just funny that people would go this far, but it's just one of those things because people just want to be the best. We just don't know exactly how to it's just a lot of people don't understand the time and energy it takes to put into actually being good. Like a lot of the people that you see stream on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook, it's just part of it.
Right.
So that's where they go and spend the money. But Activision is finally taking the step there to go and sue this group and shut them down. So
I mean, good on them, I guess. But for every one they shut down, 5 more are gonna spring up. That's every time one of these gets shut down. Especially being in foreign countries, they sprout up like wildfire.
Hmm. Yeah, they
So
do, especially because if people do have the software, like even out of the subscription stuff, if they've got it downloaded, people could find ways to repackage it and get it up there onto different systems. So that way, if there ever was such a shutdown of this, they could
yeah,
put them
because I
out there.
mean, yeah, I mean, if you're a coder already and you have access to the cheat, then you probably can find some workaround to reverse engineer it,
Oh
in
yeah,
order
probably.
to come up with some sort of code to either start coding a cheat yourself, or I don't know, provide it to someone else, and there goes the whole cycle again. And there's 5 more, cheat companies or people selling cheats, that Activision has to go and shut down. It's
Yeah,
unfortunate, but
but starting with at least one and hopefully knocking it out might hopefully stymie some of the things that have been going on in the cheating space, especially because it's not just Call of Duty. I mean, they listed other games that are
right.
supported there too. So,
I
you
I
know, it'd be
think they need
nice.
to find a way that, in a form that they're protected enough that, like, oh well, you're actually altering what our intended product was, so that's breaking the law, and you could actually do some jail time, and then you know f- show people that the punishment is out there for what the crime actually is, because you're
Yeah.
taking away from people's enjoyment. That takes away from the total I guess profit of the company, is what I'm trying to say.
Right, and we talked about that in a
Potentially,
discuss.
so
We talked about that in discuss last year. Is
right.
that cheating and hacking in video games? It doesn't matter if you're doing it on single player because you're only affecting yourself and your ability to play the game. In multiplayer, it's a different experience because it involves other people. And
Hmm.
that's where the bigger thing is. So that's where it's drawing the line and making sure the line is there, is that if this is a single player game or has a single player component, go nuts, do whatever you need to there. Once you hit the multiplayer side of it, unless there's some sort of customizable option to allow you to modify the rules for that game itself, then you've got to leave it be. But people don't care. People are still going to do what they want because they want to be the best without actually putting out the effort. Other than the effort being, putting in their credit card information to go and get this suite of software.
That's
So,
why it's going to be amazing when Forge comes back, because we'll be able to get that level of, like, I don't know, Unreal Tournament, like, level of strange out of stuff again. You know, the Gibbs, the insta kill rounds, or the no grav rounds, stuff like that. That's what people want to play. That's fun and just bizarre.
not the
Not
ones where
people
not the ones where all the enemies are exposed on the radar like all the
for one
time, or
guy. Yeah.
or yeah, the multi aim, or the aim assist type stuff. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. So
Yeah.
whether or not Activision is actually successful in any of this is going to be just an amount of time that we're gonna have to just wait and see what happens, because this group is not the only one. There's companies in China and organizations all over the world that market these things and put them
Oh
out
yeah.
there. So starting with one at least is good, but it's only going to put a small dent in the situation compared to taking out um, the larger environment of cheating that there is. So good luck to Activision, of course. I mean, granted, with all the other lawsuit bullshit that they got going on anyway, but that's their own problem. At least outside of this, I guess we'll just have to see what their success ends up being.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
hope this isn't, a diversion attempt from, what actually is going on over there. So,
I don't think so, but it's going to be interesting to see how that potentially plays into what this lawsuit is doing. So,
which is another thing I wanted to say. People still play Call of Duty.
yeah, I know. There's other
Come
things to do. Go
on.
play some Infinite.
Sorry. Yeah, I had to.
It's all right. That's okay. Well, let's move on here to something that is not even a surprise. Kyle, I think this probably isn't a surprise for you.
Nope. Not at
E3
all.
E3 2022 is going online again. Yes, that's right. E3, because COVID is still a thing, Omicron has caused us here in the United States to cross thresholds that we didn't even cross when we were in the original parts of this. E3 is going to be back online again this year, third year in a row of them showing off games, having all their different collabs, and of course, probably us having that those at-home events on Xbox and PlayStation, being able to play demos of games that are normally featured at E3. So, Polygon here, of course, reported on this, and they said, due to the ongoing health risks surrounding COVID-19 and its potential impact on the safety of exhibitors and attendees. So, yay, yep, they had expected to return to an in-person event for E3 2022, but, yeah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, the big buzz articles I've been hearing online lately in the last day after the announcement too has been, is E3 relevant anymore? I mean, really and truly, you've got 3 years in a row that we've had Summer Games Fest that Jeff Keighley has put on, an outstanding show. He really knows how to bring the titles in and
Absolutely.
bolster the excitement for people. But he's been doing it for years. I mean,
yes, he
since
has.
even before the days at G4. And during even the E3 conference, all those companies, including the indie companies that would normally have to save money or maybe just break their backs trying to get an E3 booth, they saved money by just hosting an online showing, which aside from that, they could have done anyway, and they didn't need E3's help to do. They could have just done it and said, "Hey, we're doing this event." They could have thrown it up on their YouTube, paid extra to get it, promoted by YouTube.
Yeah,
and people would have known about it, or they could have passed the news on to Jeff, and Mr. Keighley would have made sure that people knew.
Yeah, exactly. And even all the different companies hosting their own separate streaming events, though, too, especially in 2020 when Nintendo, even through 2021, Nintendo shadow dropped directs and announcements on everybody. Instead of getting people prepared and aware of it, it was just like, Nintendo announced what? When? Did they tell anybody they were going to be doing it? No, and they were really successful on doing those shadow drops. And, a lot of the other companies also kind of saw value in what they were doing too by doing their own thing. I mean, we had didn't PlayStation have was it Summer of Games or something where they did a couple different videos during the summer, and I think even Xbox did the same thing too, showing off those different things. So
yeah.
it's like you even said, and it's like even the article talks about too, is there a place for E3 anymore? Is there a value to having E3 anymore when all these different companies are able to actually put stuff together themselves? Granted, stuff like Games Developer Conference, GDC, really was one of those places for your indie devs, your single person people to be able to go and market and rub elbows with those in the game industry to be able to, kind of pitch their game, pitch their idea, and see if they could get latched onto something at one of the bigger orgs. Of course, that's where that's going to impact. E3, on the other hand, was just massive amounts of showing things off.
Well, and there's been a few things that are kind of cool that have happened with the whole E3 kind of, stepping back and moving to an online event and not being so big, and the other players having a chance. I mean, we've had the Ubisoft Forward, that they had their own event. Devolver always, or in the last 6-7 years, they've put out their own event.
Yep.
So all these publishers now are putting on their own showcase during the summer when E3 normally would, and it's like you get to visit their booth personally because you're getting to see the whole thing. They're wanting to show you the presentation now. And the other cool thing, aside from, publishers being able to say, okay, these are the games that we're bringing to you this year, is they can go, and by the way, check your system. They're on available right now.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing because it gets more people involved with those types of events, given that most of that stuff is usually relegated to being at the event itself.
Yeah, and we're in an age that, these events are touching so many people. When you think about it, E3 started out in the early 90s or something as just a event for publishers and writers that to come and see what games were coming out and then write about them and then talk to other publishers or other developers and kind of have a meeting of the minds, and that's kind of where the industry progressed from the year, but that's not the case anymore because so much of the industry touches one another because we're so connected online.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like their first event was in '95. So around the time that Sony would have been doing some stuff for the PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 5, PlayStation 1. Jesus Christ.
And it was a press event.
Yeah, exactly. So it's everything is shifted. Everything has changed to the point now that it's more open to people. There are more people involved and there are more people who are looking for this type of stuff. So I just don't know after this one, even if E3 would come back to being an in-person thing or even be as big as it is or big as it was in years past. So it's going to be kind of cool to see exactly what they come up with again this year. They're just going to kind of repeat the same thing and then kind of what we're going to be having to see for years, for the years ahead, given how things have been in the last 3 years.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. So I guess keep your eye out on whatever that's going to be. And, we'll, of course, be there and we'll report on it as things get announced.
But, of course, Summer Games Fest has already been announced. If, they don't announce an E3 event for sure, in case it doesn't happen, you do have that backup.
You do. And, of course, because my finger slipped and I accidentally moved the transition ahead there to the last story, actually, for today, we're going to move on to the last story for today. And this is by far the most interesting collaboration I've ever seen, ever. Xbox is collaborating with a makeup company. I don't know if it's OPI or OPI.
I think it's OPI.
Yeah, because it's all capitals here. But they've released a series of, here's what the article says, that they released a series of 12 nail polish colors inspired by the Xbox. It's a bunch of different colors, and these colors are all tied in with different, like, gaming names and that. So a couple of names that the article actually picked out here were, like, You Had Me at Halo. It's a purple color with sparkles in it. There's Newberry is a creamy colored purple. And then there's a bunch of other colors here too. Like I actually had the whole list up here. I'm gonna bring this up again. Let's see. It was actually all being sold through Ulta. It's supposed to be getting sold at the beginning of the next month, I think is what was supposed to happen. Let me see if they got the date here.
Actually, I want to say if you make purchases of $20 or more at Ulta, because I saw the tweets at the end of last week from Wario64, actually, of course. But it's $20 of $20 purchase of OPI products at Ulta scores you a Forza code for an exclusive color, and then the $20 of OPI products on Amazon scores you a Halo code.
Yeah, let me actually bring this up here, and I can let's see here.
And it's literally just an armor variant, and I believe a paint color.
Yeah, so
don't quote me on the paint color.
Yeah, so I've got the whole list of stuff up here right now, so you guys can actually see here what this is. So, so here are all the different colors. Are you ready for this, Kyle?
Mm-hmm.
Quest for Quartz, which is a shimmery rose quartz that will put you in the winner circle. Pixel Dust, a shimmery mauve pink that will pixelate your world. Racing for Pinks, a cream rose that will rev your engine. Susie is my avatar, a creamy pink nude that will give you virtual power. Trading paint, a cream apricot you'll race to the finish for. Heart and Console, SOUL, a shimmery crimson red that takes nails to the next level. The pass is always greener. Meet your matcha instead of match. Meet your matcha with this creamy pastel green. Sage simulation. Get lost in a shimmery sage green simulation. God, that's a lot to say. You had me at Halo, a shimmery galactic blue that will give you sparkly stats, which is actually more of a purple. Can't control me, CTRL. You know, so control. That's funny. It's like crouch.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. A shimmery robin's egg blue that cannot be controlled. Achievement unlocked. Unlock a world of color that's lilac optimized. And noob berry. Berry boost your nails with this deep cream purple. And so, you know, they have like the different console or the different like controllers you can get through Microsoft's like, you know, controller creator. And here are the images of the two different things you'll actually be able to see in this as well. Let me see if I can actually zoom into this to make these just a little bit bigger.
Man.
So there you go, right there. So yeah, the Halo one there, I can't get a bigger picture. I'll have to see if I can actually find it here in a moment. But the Halo one definitely has that sparkly purple. Then you can see the Horizon one is just a simple orange to pink kind of gradient transition. So
it might actually be that just the car. You just get the car with that color variant.
It doesn't look like it was a car. It looked like it was the actual color itself. I'm gonna see if I can actually bring up a bigger picture. Hang on a second here. Let's see. Okay, so okay, that'll I guess work for now here. So, no, of course, thanks for that one. So the picture's not necessarily as centered as I'd like it to be there, but okay, I guess that'll work. Okay, so there's the Master Chief, or not Master Chief, but I guess Spartan instead, because you can't color change Master Chief in Infinite. But there is your color. You can actually see some of the glittery look to it, though. Okay, that's kind of to be expected. Sure, you're going to shine and glow. We're all over the place. And then, of course, you can see the gradient, though, now for the Horizon. So maybe it will be a car. What I understood is that it was a livery, is that it wasn't going to be a anything else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, I was trying to scroll to find a tweet about it. Whether it be Wario or anybody else that might actually have the tweet, but I can't seem to find one.
Yeah, so you can unlock the skins there, but then it's only if you spend the $20 on it though. And so you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different colors that you can get. So
get 2, mix and match your fingers, and you scored yourself 1 skin.
What I find it funny in the grand scheme of collabs, but I have to ask this question. And Kyle, maybe you might agree with me on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that achievement unlocked is a purple color? Why is it not green?
Yeah, that was kind of my question.
Sorry, I mean,
I've always thought of achievements being green.
I got a wife. I got a daughter.
You know, Xbox and
I got
green,
a wife. I got a daughter. So this is the thing that's going to appeal to them is just the colors, of course, because my daughter's 4. So makeup and painting nails all the time is the thing. So, but for me, as the gamer, as the guy who's grown up playing Xbox, why is achievement unlocked not green? But that was a decision that didn't take place in my house. That was the decision that took place, whichever way Redmond, Washington is. And, they made the choice.
I just found it.
What is it?
Okay, so the Halo armor is through Amazon, and it is an armor coating. And then the other one, receive a free OPI exclusive Forza Horizon 5 in-game reward when you buy $20 more OPI Xbox collection product at Ulta Beauty. Play in-game content. It doesn't actually say, so I think it is an actual. You just get the car. It's
right
probably a more common like Lamborghini, is what it looks like.
Okay, hold on. Here we go. Let's see here. For Forza Horizon 5, So it says purchase $20 or more of the product between the 26th and March 31st, or December 26th and March 31st. Receive your receipt. Go to op.com/Xbox to upload your receipt. OP will verify the receipt within 48 hours. You'll receive a code and link to download the gift, and you'll download it in one of the following ways, and then the site will ask you if you want to redeem skin. So it doesn't matter what this livery goes on to.
Okay, I found more. It's actually hue matched to the product you bought.
Oh, okay.
So you actually get that particular Microsoft color. Whether you want your achievement unlocked color for your armor skin, or the what was the Halo one called again?
I don't even remember. I think I inadvertently closed out of the article here. Let me see here.
Color me Halo, or you had me at Halo.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
So I mean, it looks like whatever product you purchase is what's color variant skin you get matched. I would assume it's the same as a livery for whatever particular car that you would like. You just get that in-game paint added.
Mm-hmm. Probably. So, yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of neat. It's an odd promotion. It's not the most oddball thing Microsoft has done as of recently, but I don't know. I kind of like them leaning into the weird a little bit.
Well, I mean, you are right. It is not the weirdest promotion that I think they've done, but it's an interesting way to kind of break the boundary, especially because there are like this kind of helps to break that gender bias that comes with video games, and it kind of helps to at least, while it does seem a little goofy on our part, at the same time though, is that it is a way for them to recognize that there are girls who do play video games, and and that this is kind of one of those ways to branch out into it without it being too like crazy over the top of any type of sorts. I mean, this isn't actually bad, and I mean, nail polish isn't gender specific either. I'm just saying though is that it is a way at least to kind of bridge that gap though in another form, instead of it being just articles of clothing more than anything. It's just another way for them to do it, and it's not offensive. It's just different is all it is.
Yeah, no, I think it's weird because it's just a stretch. I don't know that. I guess games have touched out to or reached out to beauty products before, but I don't think that they've ever run a campaign like this. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of weird, but it's really unique and it's awesome.
It is. I 100% agree. It's a really neat thing for sure. But again, I'm still going to be stuck on that thing is why achievement unlocked is not green. That's just
right.
Me. That's just
that should be just like the greenest green.
It really
should be like Xbox Gem green.
Exactly. It really should be.
Yeah.
But we didn't get to make the decision, so here we are. Just I'll have to have my wife pick up, some, and then I can get the sparkly code for Infinite, and get the color armor so I can have the sparkly purple. So if we hop into Infinite at some point and you see me in that, then by all means just know that that purchase was successful. So anyway, so that is it actually for our news, of course, this week. Again, for any of the CES stuff though that did come up that was really related to gaming, of course, I talked about AMD, Nvidia, Razer, and of course talked about PlayStation. Go check that out in the quick save that was posted up on Thursday. A lot of details there. That was actually the longest quick save I've done at just over 9 minutes, I think. So go check it out, and then, put your feedback in the comments as well, too. If something was missed or anything else you'd like to add there, too, that, was covered, just give us your opinion on that. But, of course, with the news being done, our segue out, of course, to where everything else is at. So if you're following us on social media, good for you. If you're not, go check us out on Facebook and Twitter at the NPCs Podcast. Of course, you can also, you need to make sure to hit our subscribe button and notification bell here on YouTube so you know when content goes live, the quick saves, the live stream here when we're playing games live, any of that fun stuff. Please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe and notification bell so you know when we go live. Of course, Also, don't forget to follow our podcast as well, though, too. That is the big thing we do. We do have a new episode coming up next week for the beginning of the year, talking about NFTs and gaming, because that has been some of the biggest stuff in the news in the last month and a half. But NFTs in general have been a big buzzword thing for the last probably half year. So be on the lookout for that episode to drop probably on Thursday. Of course, if you want to be able to subscribe to it on your favorite podcast platform of choice, go to our homepage, anchor.fm/the-NPCs-podcast. All the links to the platforms we're supported on are on there. Or if you do have a podcast platform of your choice that you do like, go and search for the NPCs podcast and see if you can find us that way. Probably on there. With that, of course, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to this Saturday's Weekly News Roundup. We will catch you all later.
Laters.